What's happening, people? Right, property. It's not all glamour. It's hard work and there's some challenges. So let me talk you through property diaries, what's been happening in my world over the last few weeks. Well, sources. I think with sources, there's a real low barrier to entry, right? And there's a lot of people out there selling courses to become a sourcer, and as a result you get lots of people that are just not that good, right? That's the long and short of it. Yes, there are some good sources. I work with some really good sources, but the overwhelming majority are bad. So it's probably easy to stand out in that space. But let me just tell you about a little episode we had with a sourcer. So when you're making a property inquiry, you never know who's on the other end of that property inquiry, right? Everybody who doesn't work in property is going to think, oh, it's the landlord, it's an estate agent. No, it doesn't always work like that. There's layers and layers and layers of people, of individuals. Someone's getting a build done. Come on, we like that. Yeah, there's layers and layers of people between the person that wants to take on the property, like us, and the owner. So in this instance, and that's normal, we're used to that, but in this instance we have inquired, property looks good, you know, there's 2 or 3 actually that this particular sourcer has, and we're interested, right? So we go and see the property, and then they are asking for details, bank statements, you know, things like that. That's normal, no problem. But you have to make sure you're giving this information to someone who's trustworthy, reputable, right? So when you look online, there's not really much of a presence of these guys. They've got, you know, new business, it's on company's house, not been around long, they're not registered with the right entities, not registered with ICO, not registered with PRS. And so you start thinking, hold on a second, is this legit? There's so many scams in property. So anyway, they wanted our details. I wasn't comfortable sending that over email, so then they got our documentation. So let's meet up. So when I met them, and it was okay actually, no problem really. They definitely were doing what they said they were doing. I saw their agreements for the properties that we had. I showed them what they needed to see of ours, and it was all good. Had a really good chat, and left there kind of agreeing the main terms, and summarized those as soon as I got in the car park, and the guy was like, yeah, we'll send you a contract like today. That's where it started. So no contract, fine, things happen, but usually I'd expect someone to say, well, sorry, look, I'm going to get this over to you. So next morning they were like, oh, we're going to send it by 12 o'clock, nothing. Send it by 5 o'clock, nothing. We're going to send it by the evening, nothing. Next day, similar scenario. So red flags, right? Red flags that I should have been paying attention to, but I wanted to make a deal happen. That's normally my mindset. If we can we make this deal happen? So it goes on. Eventually we got to a place where we got a contract, and it was garbage. None of the terms that we had agreed were in there. It was just a standard template, so you know, no effort has gone into that. They just got us something. So again, a bit of back and forth. So we got to a place where, okay, we're finally at a place where the contract looks good. So then compliance documents. Can you send us compliance documents? Yeah, I think this is pretty standard. It is for us. It is for most people we work with, that you just have these things ready or they're in the pipeline, right? And so it was like I was asking them for something really bizarre, something weird. No compliance documents. Right, okay, can we get them done? They're asking me, have you got someone? So I sent my guy, he's gone to do an electric set. He's calling me up the next day saying, who are these cowboys? Like, they're calling me up, shouting at me down the phone, saying you're not here yet, when he had given them a time slot, you know, window. And I was like, look, I don't know them very well, sorry mate, I'm just trying to send business your way. And so again, another red flag. Red flags are piling up now, and got the compliance documents right. So I've basically, you know, got that done for them, and we're good to go. We're going to meet the next morning. They've sent me the set, and out of the blue you get a message saying, oh sorry, the landlord's gone with a higher offer. After all that, after agreeing the contract, after helping them with compliance, like, what a waste of time. bunch of wallies, mate, bunch of wallies. So obviously not very happy about that. Just, you know, got on with other things. There's a million things going on at once. And then they were like, what about these other properties that you saw? I was reluctant, but you know, they made the excuses around it's the landlord, it wasn't us. And you know, again, that inclination to try and get a deal done meant I was probably ignoring the red flags. So it's a bit silly, but I want to try to go ahead with the next property. So this time the contract was more or less ready because we got the template from the previous property that, you know, they were obviously gazumped us on, and still a bit of back and forth, still a bit slow, but better than before. So then the compliance documents, again, we've got the same guy, my guy, to go and do the cert because there's nothing set up for the property. So that's all good. And so the final bit was I was just going to go into the property and check white goods because we had some terms around who would cover white goods, etc. So gone into the property, white goods, a bit battered, but you know, it's okay, we'll deal with them. So while I was there, I checked the heating. Obviously it's hot at the moment, you're not going to need heating, but I tried to foresee problems downstream, right? And none of the heaters worked. There was no heating in a bedroom. I'm not even sure you can rent out property without heating. I don't, like, you just can't, right? And so I'm like, look, I can't take this property on now. None of the heating works. They were like, oh, we'll get it sorted, etc. But I know as soon as I sign on that dotted line, it becomes my problem. And given the fact that these guys haven't managed to do anything on time, in full, I can't trust that, you know, they're going to get the heating done. So I was like, look, get it done and I'll come back and we'll get it sorted. It's not a long job, a couple of days. Again, I can send someone, I can get it sorted, because obviously they're amateur, they don't have the people, they don't know. And that's when it started getting a bit rowdy. And the guy's like, oh, you've been wasting our time. I was like, what? I've been wasting your time? Wow, that is madness. And I was like, look, I can't take your property with heating, mate. Like, am I the only one? Like, would anyone else take property with heating? I've had instances where I work with landlords and there's one or two little things that need doing in the property, and because they're trustworthy and because we've done things quickly, you know, you get a gut feel, you know they're going to get these things sorted, so you go ahead. But that's not the case with these guys. I know as soon as I signed that over, nothing's going to happen, and it comes to winter, I'm going to be stuck. Yeah, so the guy turned around and said to me, you're giving me problems, not solutions. I was like, mate, you've been watching too much Samuel Lee. And you know, there are these influencers, obviously I'm putting content out there, but they're kind of selling these courses, they're selling these dreams to kids that they don't really know what they're doing. They don't understand the game, they don't understand property, and it just causes absolute chaos. And I was like, mate, this ain't my problem. Like, how are you making it my problem? I don't need to come to you with a solution. The solution is get the heating fixed. I'll be back in a couple of days. If it's ready, I'll take the property off you, no problem. But yeah, I just got heated and escalated, just waste of time. So sources. Any good ones, hit me up. Any rubbish sources, stay away. And then you got estate agents. When it comes to chasing rent, they are on it, they are efficient. Not that they ever have to chase our rent, it gets paid on time, but I've seen in the past where rent is due and I'm getting messages by 12 o'clock. Well, you know, I've got at least until 5 o'clock on a working day to pay your rent, and we pay about £500,000 of rent a year, and that is always on time and in full. So they're good at that. But when it comes to maintenance, and there's one particular estate agent here who's a big estate agent in West London, well known, not going to say the name because that's just not how we roll. We had a leak in a property and it's been going on for months now and they've done nothing. They keep telling me they're going to get this sorted. It's not a major leak, it's a minor little drip under a sink, so it's not a big hazard or anything, but it's just a nuisance that keeps popping up, and the tenant, you know, keeps contacting us and we go to them to try and get it sorted. It's not something that falls under our responsibilities in this particular instance. Yeah, so this estate agent, they are like, we'll get it done, we're talking to the landlord tomorrow, empty promises, nothing's happening. So I've just had to go and get this leak sorted and just send them an email and say, look, I'm going to deduct it or the rent. Did they reply to that email? Nope. So let's see what happens. once that rent deduction takes place. But you know, we can't wait around for these things. We have to get them sorted. Other things that have been happening in the property space, as I've been putting myself out there, putting more content out, you know, this kind of stuff, networking, you get contacted by a lot of people call you, and you get some really strange people. Someone was like, I'm a landlord, I've got lots of properties, I'm interested in social housing. I was like, yeah, hit us up, let's have a chat. So this guy called me, he said, I'm going to call you in 5 minutes. He called 45 minutes later, straight away, backs up. We don't roll like that, you know, we do things on time and in full, as I've already alluded to with the saucer fiasco. And so this guy, this landlord, straight away, what rates do you get? Who are your contacts? Who do you work with? No sort of presenting his position, presenting his case, presenting the properties might have, or even coming from the angle of, I just need some help, can you help me? Because if you come with that, mate, you know, I'm Punjabi, we're Sikh, we got those values that we help people, you know. I think most people are like that, but when you come with sneakiness and try to be like, let me get as much information, you know, we see that coming a mile off. And I was just like, mate, look, I just feel like you're calling me to get all of my information, and I weren't born yesterday. It's not going to happen. We work really hard to develop these contacts, develop these relationships, and we can't just hand them over. Yeah, they're worth a lot of money. So I was, you know, just strange people like that. You got another one who's, you know, talking about doing HMOs. So we work with investors. You know, got one HMO just starting, not far from the one we're developing. Check out the channel. Really good investor. You know, obviously there's always back and forth, but you know, we're going to go in tomorrow actually, so that's going to be good, get that started. But this guy's come along, oh, I've got a family office, I don't want to do 6 in one go. Let's start with 1. Let's not go with 6. And then they just disappear, you don't hear from them, you know, they're just gathering information. So yeah, all stuff you just got to watch out for in this property space. Yeah, so that's some of the fun and games that happen in property. Thanks for watching. So just a bit of an update now that I'm back home. Saucer, I was totally right about this saucer. I literally walked through my front door and I had a missed call from the electrician, right? The one that I sent to him, and he was like, bro, who are these guys? They owe me £650. Like, so he's gone off, and I feel really bad now because all I was trying to do is send business this guy's way, and he's gone and done 2 or 3 other jobs for them, and he's now owed £650. They're not picking up the phone. He hasn't been able to get hold of them for the last few days, and yeah, gut feel was right. So the plot thickens. Maybe I'll name these guys